Hey trainers, Gastly here again. I'm getting some messages asking me if I have any good recommendations on Great League teams. So I decided to go ahead and make a sample video using my safe, open, Great League team that I use whenever I want an almost guaranteed positive set, or I'm using a premium pass and I want to maximize the rewards I get. So I used this team at the end of season 8 after the last Go Battle night when, like a lot of people, I tanked a couple hundred ELO just to get as many rewards and Stardust as I could. And then I used this team to actually make my way back up to Expert again. So with this said, let's get into the actual team makeup and the theory behind it. So for this team, we've got Galarian Stunfish, Tropius, and Cresselia. So this team is a twist on the classic Caleb Hang double grass line. It's an ABB team format that utilizes the versatility and the bulk of Tropius and Cresselia. For this video, I actually gave Tropius Razor Leaf as its fast move, but the Air Slash version is much safer. It just isn't as much fun as seeing a Razor Leaf, just Razor leaving down a Shadow Swampert or a Politoed. It's pretty fun to watch that and see that. In the end, though, the Air Slash variety is a much safer option. The theory behind this team is that it punishes all the water types that are everywhere in Great League. Looking at you, Azumarill, Politoed, Swampert. While it also offers a variety of other ways to get positive winning conditions. This team works in that Cressy is obviously the safe switch when you come up against a water lead that would usually wreck Stunfish. And that usually will make your opponent swap out also. You're then able to come back later on with the Tropius, and you take out your lead without too much trouble. You also know that Cressy can tank at least one of any attack in the game, and it won't go down without dealing some heavy damage, or forcing your opponent to use a shield if they send in a dark type, and they know that you're gonna throw a Moonblast at some point. So that's why it works pretty well as a safe swap. As with any team, there's always difficult scenarios and counters that you have to work around. The most difficult situation you'll come up against is a lead Oopstagoon or a Scrafty. If your opponent realizes how valuable that lead bond is, it protects it or swaps it out right away, you'll have a hard time winning. If you practice with this team enough, you can sometimes switch that match around. It can be hard though. The other difficult scenario you will likely come across is meta chain leads, and then you swap the Cressy in, then they'll send in a Skarmory. Cressy won't win that battle unless you burn a shield and you're able to bait them successfully. I've done it before, but it doesn't happen that often. Having given you guys some background, let's check out some of the videos from the early days of Season 9. I chose a video of 3 matches from rank 5 super early on, and then a full set on rank 10. I have some more recent set videos from higher ranks, but these videos show a pretty good sample of how it's done. And like I said before, this team I was able to get go back from veteran ELO up to expert again. I already hit expert last season. Then using this team, I was able to get back up to expert again. So it does work pretty well if you really master how to utilize it and how to sort of read the other team and what they typically have in the back. So with that, let's check out the videos. Alright, so let's get to some battles. I lead it. Stunfish against Azumarill. Switch to Cressy right away. Switch to Oopstagoon, so not a great option. Charge up to Moonblast, then throw Grass Knot, doesn't buy it. Have to usually take the first on Night Slash. Got lucky that he didn't block that one. So now I'm waiting to leave here. Got a Hunter, which is an interesting choice for open Great League. 'Cause, 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 'c So you saw the switches in. Um, Usually the key against the Zoomer is to just let the first Ice Beam go. They throw Player off, which was an interesting choice. Remember, this is a Razor Leaf one. So at this point, this person thinks they're going to somehow win with a Haunter, which is great as a glass cannon, but like Razor Leaf does a lot of damage. I'm not sure why they thought that they could win this somehow. And pretty easy first match. This is early on, so this is rank 5, so this wasn't necessarily a great decision made. So as we go along, we should directly play people who are making at least a few better choices here. Actually, a great lead against Bastion. They switch in Zumaro, switch right away over the Tropius. You can just see that farm down going with Razor Leafs. Once again, let the first Ice Beam go. The reason for that is because typically if they're switching out in the Zoomer, they've whatever they led with, they're gonna fight back with. So you don't want to have a whole lot of um, health left from the farm down again. So Vice worked out perfectly, and I'm able to get off a one Leaf Blade off before I get rocked down. Then switch back. Then they go into Toxicroak, which is not gonna cope well with Psycho Cuts from Cressy. Let the Sludge Bomb go through because um, I know it's not really gonna matter. At this point, it's just keep keep grass knotting, Bastion down. Eventually, he'll win. Eventually, Bastion will take this one-on-one matchup, but um, Stumpfish is such an advantage that it's not going to matter. I usually let one flamethrower go, especially at this point. At this point, block this one, just farm down. There you go. That's 2 matches down. Commonly lead, obviously, I have the advantage here. Once again, switching Zoomerol. Tropius goes right in. The first Ice Beam go, so that Skarmory will have nothing to farm down. They usually take the Leaf Blade. So even though they get a lot of energy, I still have the advantage here. They put in a different water type, which is exactly what this team before they they likely didn't think I would have two grasses because they didn't expect I would think that they'd have two water types. This works out perfectly. I decided to use the shield there just so I can force pressure on them.
Discovery hasn't done a move yet, so I have to save a shield just for that in case. At this point they have no um, they have no shields. But also, they can't go for a double Brave Bird here because Cresselia survived the matchup, so they quit. That was a opportunity. If I slowed that value down, you would have seen they had a chance to leave that matchup, and they didn't. It's now up to rank 10. These matches, I think, were like a day or two, like 2 days later, maybe. Darkstroke League, switch to Cressy. They send in Mastodon. Just gonna keep leafing away. Nice. In this scenario, I have to just kind of I could take the flamethrower. I decide to shield it and farm down. I thought they might switch over to Toxic Growth. They decided not to. I try to bait the Earthquake, buys it, so switch over to Tropius. And then he's got a Azumarill, but we all know that Tropius is going to handle the Azumarill. Well, and in this scenario, it's going to actually work out well for me because I'm going to be able to take the Ice Beam, farm down. It's tight. It's a tight matchup here. But with the farm down, I had exactly enough for the Arrow Ace and just about the win. As usual knockout, that but Stunfish is still way in there in the back, so I get the win there. That's match one of the second set. Jocelyn leads are interesting. He actually bails on this. This is not a good move by my opponent here, but I get it because I'm going to win this matchup against the bird. Not sure why they felt like I wasn't going to kill the brave bird. I think they figured that since I'm going to match up anyway, if they can just keep going straight brave birds, then sort of force the shield. Whereas otherwise, I could theoretically not shield the first one, figuring it was going to be a flame charge. So now this is interesting right here because I overcharged on purpose, and this is exactly where it pays off. So having done that, I won the battle to the earthquake. Now he's left only with a Jellicent, and I just throw Tropius straight in to take it. He just GG, and that match is over. Interesting strategy by my opponent. Um, I don't think they foresaw that I was going to overcharge against against a Firebird. I should send Vigoroth in because Dragonite is not. It's not a good matchup for them. Vigoroth is interesting. Don't like it. I don't like Vigoroth personally, but that's because he annoys his team. But I do what you can do. I no shield the second time. I was thinking what was worth doing that, and I decided to just go for it. I do shield this one so I can get a little bit of a farm down. Knowing that his Dragonite is a Shadow type, is a Shadow Dragonite, and he's used a shield for that. So in this case, because they farmed up a little bit, I decided to go with Cresselia because I know that Selfish is going to destroy the Dragonite, and he's going to have to shield. I don't really have to shield against the Stunfish. And I had counted enough that I knew I'd be good with counting out the Grass Knot. They had the shield, switch out Dragonite, and I have a shield. They don't. This match is over already. Now, we're in the fourth match of this round. As you can see, I'm facing opponents who are higher than me. Facing Victor in the beginning, which automatically makes you think, possibly grass hole team. In which case, it's actually one of the times when it would have been more beneficial to have the shrubbies that the air slash variety. So there's an interesting strategy going on here. Some people like to battle Cresselia with rock slides. Guess they're figuring baiting, but that actually does do frame rate damage, so it's actually not a bad horrible idea. I just barely miss out on my charge move. I figured it's also another acid spray because I think they would do a leaf play, but take it, I guess. And now they've got a Medicine in the back, which this is a hard matchup. Air slash Tropius, this matchup wouldn't have been too bad. So they get the good bait power punch. I sort of enforced to try to go for earthquake. Just isn't going to happen for me. So I made some not so smart moves in this one. So can't win them all. I should have known better. And last match of this set. Animus lead, so this is generally a favorable matchup. So what I should notice here is that it's a favorable matchup for me, yet they're not leaving it, which should give me a good idea about what's going on with this team. They do switch into the zoom row. So once again, do the usual, no shield for the ice beam. Then if they throw like a dazzling gleam, that's even better for me. All right, and hypno. So they're away my options. Figure this is going to be a shadow ball. There's a thunder punch actually. Throw grass knot, see what they do. They block it. Switch over, and we got charge moves waiting. At this point, I know like I probably got this match, so I need to a shield here so that I can force them. I think I was going to go with the earthquake. I think I selected the rock side first. Um, Either way, they're gonna have to use a shield at some point. Do you think they'd be forced to use a shield? But also at this point, like if they have a shadow ball back there, like it's not gonna take out Cresselia. So if they had tried to bait so much, they might have actually had the shadow ball energy. But in the end, they'll farm down and get the nice W.
So we finished the set at 4-1. Just a couple of things I want to add on about this team. First, understand not everyone can build the team. Obviously, having a friend who can trade with Tropius helps, no matter what the attack, defense, HP stats are. I was lucky enough to have a friend who was in Israel, and I brought back a couple, and I got one that way. The obvious substitute for Tropius in this team would be a jump bluff. You'd use it virtually the same way. The main difference being that jump bluff isn't as bulky as Tropius, so you'd have to take that into account when you're thinking about shielding and things like that. If you've been playing the game long enough, you've definitely played during the time you could get a Cresselia as a research breakthrough that was low enough to be under the 1500 CP limit. Also, if you didn't have one, it would be to use a defense Deoxys. That would clean up the Skarmy weakness, but it isn't as fun to do that. And it also would be true to the double grass theme. As I said before, this team is by no means foolproof. It does take some practice. If you commit to using it and learn some of the nuances with a lot of practice, I can confidently say you'd get stable enough results that could take you to ace and veteran ranks in the open format. In special limited cups, though, I wouldn't necessarily use this team just because the teams you would face wouldn't be as predictable with their composition of like flying and water types that this team can take on more easily. But it's still a fun team to use. So with that, I wish you all good luck. Go have some fun battles.